Okay, hey guys, and welcome back. So today we're going to explore a purely summoner warlock with a heap of plus skills gear, and you can kind of see what the end result of that looks like. So we are in Player's 8 Hell for what it's worth. When you guys see how he performs, I'm going to show you the gear first, then the stats and skills, and then we'll go on so you can actually see how he fares. So as far as gear, we have the new Void Runeword made in a fanged knife that came with some base skills to Warlock, +3 to Bind Demon, +3 to Demonic Mastery. This is for a total of +5 to those skills. I like it. I also get the Decryptify charges. It's kind of fun to be able to cast Decrypt when you're a summoner. I would think this is best in slot for a summoner warlock if you're trying to have fun and get the most plus skills to your potentially plus skills to your summoning tree. Also, the +1 to Abyss you get inherently is kind of nice. I do use Abyss. I'll show you more of that later. Next, Shaco says +3 skills, and so does Mara's. I just amended these uniques to reflect magic items like a +3 to Demon's Amulet and a +3 Circlet. Rather than trying to find those, I just changed the uniques to reflect that. Enigma, +2 skills. Then we have the new book, Ars Torbalos. +2 to demon skills, plus a couple extra skills. +3 to demonic mastery. This is best in slot if you're a summoner, but a spirit shield will do just fine. Yeah, you'd lose the +3 to demonic mastery, but you'd still get +2 to all warlock skills, so it's a trade-off. Then we have 2 Stones of Jordan, 1 Arachnid's Belt, we have standard Tortured Annie, and then 9 plus demon skills with life. We don't have Call to Arms on Switch, although that would help us greatly. So on to, okay, let's look at some of these skills, how they look, right? So Summon Goatman, Summon Tainted, and Summon Defiler, I have only put 1 point. They're already level 30 with all the plus skills gear that we have going on, right? Bind Demon is 51, which is off the chain. Your demon gets an extra 865 damage plus 1,457 flat damage. Okay, your chance to bind is almost 30%. Then they all get Aura Enchanted, Spectral Hit, Extra Fast, and Extra Strong as a standard. Then on the Demonic Master, we have the 3 max demons. Attack rating is 1,350%, which is wild. Or maybe that's a flat stat. I'm not sure. I think it is percentage based, but it could be a flat stat. Regardless, it's a lot of AR. Attack speed 58%, which again is just wild. It's almost 60%. Plus 540% damage, as well as 38% run walks. So huge demonic mastery level 54, massive buffs. Blood Oath is also massive at level 48. Gives your demon an extra 1,695% life, which is just, he's never going to die. 76% resist all on top of his own resistances. Physical damage to your demon reduced by 11%, and 99% damage from you taken goes to demon. So you could, in theory, not invest anything in vitality, put all your points in whatever you want, be it energy for summoner, or maybe you want like 1 point echoing strike and you want to max out your strength. You could do all that, right? And it'll all be just, it'll be fine. We did also put 1 point into Psychic Ward as a 1 point wonder. Your plus to skills gear bumps it up to level 18, so it's pretty decent. Absorbs a decent amount of damage there, 215. So how does it play? Well, the way it plays is we also put 1 point into these sigils and 1 point into these prerequisites so we can max Abyss. As far as demon skills, all we maxed is Bind Demon, Demonic Mastery, and we dumped the rest of our points into Blood Oath with 1 point into everything else. Okay? So let's go now to Travancore. So we already have a demon that we bound. At this point, man, you're just like going around casting sigils, just like a necromancer would, or perhaps you cast the Cryptify. Let's see. We have these charges. Let's use them. Let's see how the Cryptify does. Amazing, right? You can see how slow they are. That's so cool. And then you just let your mercenary and your demon basically like mop up the kills. This is player's 8, so you know, I'm not doing anything. I'm just standing around, and my mercenary, who's wearing an insight, by the way, and the demon are taking care of everything. We'll check that out just for fun. Right, they're doing all the work. I'm just casting sigils, fooling around. Okay, so that's a full clear. So I just stood back. I was using Abyss a little bit, but it barely does any damage, as you can tell. So I was using it a little bit here and there, but mostly it was my summon and my mercenary. And again, I just want to point out, mercenary is just wearing a basic insight, right? Like, sure, it's a good insight, don't get me wrong. It's a perfect insight, to be fair. But it's just insight, right? Insight, fortitude, and Andes. And between him and my summon, they took on player's 8. Just want to show you guys that I'm not lying. It is player's 8. We check down here, player's 8. So that's pretty wild. And let's see what we dropped. Perfect, beautiful. So a couple notes, guys. So this is a pure summoner. This is probably the strongest summoner you can make, which is to say, rather than trying to have many summons, you just have the one bound demon, and you invest your stats in such a way that he just becomes overpowered, right? We could even take the stats that we put into Abyss, not take any of these skills, well, maybe take the sigils 1 point each. We don't even need to take these. Like, this is all just for fun. And you could redistribute those skills here. Perhaps you want to give more to Engorge, Blood Boil, whatever, right? If you want, you can do an Apocalypse variation. You don't even have to take these skills to such a high level. You can save a couple points and build like a hybrid Apocalypse slash Summoner build. Like, there's many different ways that you could take this and still be a success. Many different ways to deck out your mercenary, many different demons you could pick. Let's just look at the stats on ours quickly so I could see, because he was doing pretty well. So yeah, he's got fanaticism, which is always huge. He's extra strong, fire enchanted, multiple shots, and extra fast with a spectral hit. So Soul Bite here can literally solo players 8 while you're just standing back, casting your sigils. Maybe you're casting your Decrepify if you've got the Void. Do we have it on here? Let's see. Where's those Decrepify charges? Here they are. So Decrepify is very strong because it works on bosses. You can slow the boss down to half attack speed and half movement speed, so that's huge. And we did all this with an Enigma on, okay, so you could teleport. You could swap out Enigma for Magic Find gear, you could put a Skulders on, you know, there's all sorts you can do. You don't need to have a full inventory full of charms. You could do without it, right? You don't need all this perfect gear. You don't need this knife base that I've showed you. This is just optimizing the gear. That's all this is. It's just optimal. Just like this book, optimal, because it gives you an extra 3 to demonic mastery. But you don't need to have this. You can use a different book. You can make one of the new rune words. You can use, if you want more protection, you can use a storm shield. You can just use a spirit if you want the extra mana. There's lots of different directions you could take this. So, alright, I'll be curious to see actually how it does on players 1. We know that it wrecks players 8. So we're gonna now take it down to 1 player. And let's see. I guess this room's already completed. Let's start a new game. Play hell. So I will take my mercenary a little bit to get his might aura back up and running there, but let's just have a peek here and see. Just let the mercenary kind of. So you guys could see once I started intervening and using Abyss and stuff like that myself, the fight went a bit faster. So it's not the fastest clearing build by any means, because this is only players 1, right? It's not the fastest clearing build by any means, but it is a very safe build. Like if I was playing hardcore, I would definitely want to benefit from a high level Blood Oath, right? Let my demon do all the tanking. Um, it's also a very lazy build if you don't like to be too involved yourself. But last but not least, I wanted to add in, if you do want to make a purely summoner build and you want multiple minions, 2 things you could easily do. Number 1, instead of summoning a demon from Travancore like this guy with the fanaticism, you want to summon a shaman demon, okay? And you can usually find those inside of like Tristram. Or you could summon the one that comes on the first wave of the Baal waves, right? The top guy there, the shaman. And you can bind him, and he'll actually resurrect fallen demons to fight alongside you. And they'll get all the auras and everything as well. And if you want to add a couple more, different summons, there's 2 more things you could do. So first of all, you can equip your mercenary. In his weapon slot, you can give him the Tome Reaver, which is a unique cryptic axe that resurrects 10% of all the kills you make as skeletons. And then for your own guy, if you wanted, you can wear Faith Bow instead of this combo here, or you can even wear Faith on swap. And 10% of your kills that you make with the bow will also resurrect the skeletons. So who knows, maybe there's like a fun variant in there where, again, you make like a Mirrored Blades build, you use the Faith Bow, and you capitalize on the skeletons that the Faith Bow resurrects as your army. So perhaps that's the way to go about it. So there's many different ways to play the Shaman. The way I've shown you is very safe, very strong. I hope you guys use him. I hope he helps you in your hardcore missions and runs. And let me know in the comments if I've missed anything, if you do anything differently, and what you'd like to see next. Catch you next time.